Well, the one thing that really bothered me more than anything in San Francisco is when they hit the big plays on us. We got on our heels and we didn't get back up on the balls of our feet. So defensively, that's the part, from a coaching staff standpoint. We didn't get our players to adjust just from a pure confidence standpoint because of the read option. And things manifested in the first half. The quarterback scrambles in the passing game were huge plays. And frankly, the conversation on the headsets and throughout the first half was really on the rush plays, particularly on third down. If you just go back and look at the third downs in the first half, I mean, those were huge plays that obviously factored, and that's really where our focus was. I think they ran the read option 4 or 5 times in the first half, in the production, if I recall, was 5 or 6 yards was the biggest run. So, and then once they hit the 57-yard or whatever, it just you could see we weren't playing with proper leverage, confidence wasn't there. We looked at the replay enough. You go through all those questions, and you're honest about it. Did we play with enough vision through the football? We give our players the ability to play with enough vision throughout that game, and we never countered the big play production against San Francisco. And offensively, we had to play pretty much near perfect football. And, we don't convert the one third down, and then next thing you know, it's a 2-score, 3-score game.
Is the answer to that to say we're going to attack the quarterback as much as we can to create big plays defensively and counter what he's trying to do and take the aggressiveness out of there, or is it to say we're going to play, dive, run, pitch?
Well, I think the biggest thing when you're talking schematic football, particularly when it stresses your team, with the offense that had the ability of playing with all 11 players, which normally they're playing with 10 as far as running the football, is to have more than one plan. You can't just always have the same player on the dive, the same player on the pitch, and the same player on the quarterback. So, I mean, those are the types of things that we're spending more time than we ever have, obviously, in that area. And I feel very, very confident, and I like the way the conversations have gone. We just defensively, we've just completed our own scheme evaluation. Dahlem has gone back and through with all his recommendations and things for each coach has an opportunity to give his corrections and recommendations for the upcoming year. So we're now starting to build our installations for next season.
So it sounds like the plan is to be as diverse as you possibly can with different options about how to
We're
attack.
a multiple scheme defense, that won't change. Okay? We're a multiple scheme offense, we're a multiple scheme defense. We like to be aggressive schematically. Our players are phenomenal in the classroom as far as the mental preparation and ability to be multiple. I think it's a real strength of our football team. It's reflected in our mental errors. I've continually improved in my time in Green Bay. So that philosophy won't change.
Mike, one last question along this. Are the days of being a pure 3-4 or 4-3 team sort of gone for defensive football? Because you have to be able to get in and out of all sorts of different kinds of formations. You might be a base 3-4, but I got to show something else once in a while.
Well, I think the reality of the base 3-4 does have a lot of flexibility. You can get to the, in layman's terms, you can get to the an eagle front or 3 technique, strong and weak. So that's all part of the base 3-4 package. But when you play defense to complement our offense, you're going to have sub-defense on the field a lot. So you're spending more than half your time in sub-defense than you are in base 3-4. That's just kind of the nature of the way games have gone. I mean, the way Detroit plays on offense. I mean, Mark Trestman's going to bring a different element offensively to Chicago. Minnesota, see how they're going to play. So I mean, it's you don't line up playing 65% base defense anymore.
65?
You do not. I mean, those days are over. So have been for a long time. We've been there's been years where we've been 60% sub. So that's just the reality of the game of football.
Mike, when you take away the element of surprise, though, don't you feel like you'll be, whether it's your trip to Texas A&M or just knowing how you did against them, that this won't be as big of a factor? I mean, isn't it fair to say you were kind of taken by surprise a little bit by the read option and how they used it?
We weren't regimented enough. That's definitely the case. We can talk, and there's other factors that were involved in that too. And frankly, they're just a bunch of excuses. But the way we practiced the last month of the season, frankly, wasn't conducive to getting ready for a scheme that definitely is going to make you hunker down and play base defense and trust your fundamentals. So you saw the way we practiced, and we practiced that way for a reason. So I mean, it's there's other factors that put you in position to prepare a certain way, and it didn't help us.
Do you believe injuries are cyclical? I mean, do you believe that there's a regression to the mean, and that you were unlucky in 10 and 12, and you're just due to not have a lot of injuries, or do you not buy that?
Well, they better be. I'll just say that. So we're looking at everything involved. I mean, we have been. This is not something that all of a sudden we started to look at. It's a constant conversation between our training staff and medical staff. The way our nutrition and health education and everything we're pouring into this. So it doesn't add up right now. So this year I'm confident. Hopefully it'll change.
Have you gone to
Hopefully confident, I guess.
Have you guys gone to Texas yet to do that study?
Yes.
How did you think that went?
Went great. And frankly, the fact that the defensive staff was on the road together, I thought was the camaraderie of the trip is a real benefit. Because I think anytime you put a group of 6 to 8 coaches on a plane, in vans, driving to a school, they talk football from the time they walked in the airport, and we're talking football on the way out. So that's the kind of stuff I think every coach misses. Just getting out and pure ball, because it's a little different to sit in your office every day and do the same thing, and when you do it on a different environment, I think it's a great change up, and I thought it was a great opportunity for our defensive staff to do that. Kevin Sumlin and his staff were very gracious, and there's a ton of feedback going back and forth. Kevin was in the room the whole time, giving an offensive perspective. So our defensive staff was in the room with their defensive staff. So it was the conversation was very, very helpful. And, I'm sure there'll be some things that we'll take away from that visit.
Was that pretty recent?
Yes, I can't remember.
How long did you stay?
No, it was a dine, and they're getting ready. They were getting ready to go on spring break for spring ball. So wait time. We flew in at night. Was over there in the morning. Was back the next night. So,
you didn't go. Did you?
I couldn't go yet.